going down. Tired of myself, tired of this town.
Eminent Waste of Time, presented by CW Motorsports, episode 68. I'm Doug.
And I'm Chad.
And banquet season is upon us.
It is here. Time for stuffing faces and meeting racers that you haven't seen in months and all that.
I definitely ate way too much last night at the MWXC banquet. I had the regrets after. You know, you eat and you're like, that felt good. And then you realize, I still have work to do tonight. And then I didn't feel so good.
Yeah. I did not attend.
You missed a lot of people.
Did I miss a lot of people?
There were a lot of people there that you didn't see.
There we go. There's a difference between missing them and not seeing them.
But yeah, MWXC's banquet was yesterday on the 12th.
Uh-huh.
And then next weekend, you got a double header. I don't think you could actually make both. I think you have to pick your poison.
You do. I think they're both pretty much the same time, and they're like an hour and a half or 2 hours apart from each other. So
that'd be difficult. But that would be Midwest Side by Side and Crossroads.
Correct.
And then on the 26th, the following Saturday, you've got IXCR.
So it is the final cap on all this race series are happening. It's all still within this month.
And then you basically get 1 month off, and then you go racing again.
That's kind of where we're at, yeah. You take the month of February off. That's what you get off. And it's the shortest month in the entire year. So
it's almost like we planned it that way. The shortest month without racing.
So, yeah, a lot of guys I've seen some posts of guys tearing down machines and trying to start getting them back together. And 'tis the season to take everything apart and put everything back together.
I was actually talking to quite a few people last night, as you might imagine. I was kind of emceeing the event for MWXC.
Yeah, in your nice suit. I saw pictures.
Yes, I got all dressed up. It was kind of funny because I'm all dressed up and these guys are in like Carhartts and blue jeans, and I mean, they're just showing up. But it's one of those things that you want to make it a big deal for the racers. It's, some people look forward to the banquet more than others, but long story short is everybody put in a lot of time, effort, and money into their race season.
Yep.
And I figure for me, it's kind of the least I can do just to,
so
put some effort into it.
In saying it's the least you can do, you're saying you put forth minimal effort.
I don't know if that's how that works, but okay.
That's what you said. That's how I took it.
At least I could do that.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay.
Whatever. Anyways, but it was funny talking to people, both racers and employees of the series who, track sweep and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
In fact, I talked to Woody.
Oh, yeah?
We were talking about, like you said, people are getting race machines together and they're trying to get prepped for the season. And he said that he's got that Kawasaki.
Yeah.
Or is it the Brute?
Yeah, the Brute Force.
Brute Force.
Yeah.
So I think it's a 650 is what he's got.
Okay.
And that's what he uses to track sweep. So that thing gets a ton of abuse. It's towing people out, And
he's been using it for as long as I've known him.
Oh, yeah. And it doesn't, they probably, when they build those things, they figure, okay, you might tow somebody once in a blue moon, get your buddy out of a jam on the trail. They're not figuring like 20 to 30 times per day, 2 days, times 12
or 13, depending. And that's if you only do one series.
Yeah. So it's gotten a lot of use. And he said the valves are out of adjustment. It's got some issues. It wouldn't even start at the last race because the compression's not quite there. And so I was talking to him about that. And he goes, it's right in the trailer where I parked it. So I haven't even touched it. So he's still got to tear that down before the season starts. And I talked to a lot of racers that, said, hey, how's your, machine shaping up for this year? And I'm like, no idea. I probably should get to that.
Yeah. Well, I know a few guys have, and we'll see if we can find the pictures of it, but Steve Mueller got a new cage on his.
Yes, he did. He's
and
a cagey kind of guy.
His was completely tore down. It's typical of Steve, nothing wrong with it, but it's how he works, that he tore the whole thing down. He wants to go over it.
He's very methodical. Yeah. Yes.
And he got a new cage on there. Mike Plank, he's got the new buggy. And he's got a new cage and bumpers and rock sliders. So he's got a whole new setup. I think Barry Miller is kind of in the middle of working on his.
Yeah, last time I saw it, he had the front end torn down pretty good.
Yeah, he's replacing some parts. I know Devin Smith had to replace some parts. Nothing major, just wear items on both his and Barry's. I hear Barry's putting a dozer blade on the front to help.
I think he probably should. He can clear a path for Devin to cut.
Yeah.
Wait, did I say that on air?
That was out loud. Let's see. Who else was getting stuff done? Paul Johnson. He had some diff problems. I don't know if you saw his pictures.
He also added power steering, didn't he?
I believe he did. Yes. It sounds right. But he had some diff problems. I told him just to chuck some JB Weld in there, and all the parts would kind of find their way back to where they were supposed to be.
Yeah, it's like when you break your collarbone.
Yeah.
They don't put you in a cast. They just tell you just put your arm in a sling, and eventually it'll find and knit back together.
Yeah.
Differentials are the exact same thing.
No, don't do that.
Only do that if you're racing against us.
Yeah. Let's see. Jason Bannon, he's still got his RS1. I think he's done some stuff to it over the winter. I couldn't tell you exactly all what at this point because he kind of started early.
He did, and because he had it for part of last season and
last 3 races or 2 races or something like that.
I know he changed intakes because nobody's running the RS1 intakes that's racing. They're basically taking the stock ones are already relocated to some extent,
right?
But a lot of people aren't happy with them, and I believe
kind of restrictive. Is that the thought?
Yeah, kind of restrictive, and they don't like the placement of them either.
Okay.
So I believe he's redone his intakes, moved them around, which seems to be a very common race thing.
I don't know if he's caged his. I strongly suggest, and I'm not saying this to Jason Bannon or anyone in particular, if you're going to race, you need a cage.
You need a cage.
Not the factory cage. They're just not good enough. So
they're what is deemed a one-time use cage, meaning that if you roll it, it will likely crumple. It'll still protect you, but that's it. It's lost its structural integrity once it's been on its lid, and you are not using it again.
I literally saw a guy earlier this week who had rolled his, not hard, but it kinked the top tube or right in the dog leg from going from what would be the A tube to the top. And he said, look, I was able to push it back and straighten it. It's fine now.
Oh, Lord. That is terrifying. Seriously?
Yeah. I told him, I said, that is a horrible idea. You need to replace that. He was not a racer, but it's like, that's not right.
You have a huge glaring weak spot now.
I'm not kidding. He pressed it back with something, a porta power or something anyway, and took a grinder to flatten the metal out. So it's got to be like stupid thin in places. It's already thin.
That's terrifying.
I was less than impressed.
Eminent performance tip of the day. Don't do any of that.
Right. Don't.
The cage and the thing is the cage is not just an integral protection piece. The cage is really part of the frame structure. If you let's say you take your brand new Razor, your brand new X3, and pull the top off of it, that thing is going to be floppy and twist. And it's the cage.
It's going to fold up some just driving it around.
Yeah. I mean, the cage is actually part of the system that keeps the whole thing rigid and keeps the frame part on the bottom from folding up like a taco.
Yeah.
So it's not just for looks. It's not just to protect you. There's many, many functions that cage serves. And so driving around with a deliberately damaged one is insane.
You can get by with unbolting the cage and like driving it up onto the trailer and driving it into a fabrication shop to have the cage made. But any kind of trail riding, you will fold your frame in some form or fashion. It will collapse a little bit.
If anybody out there has a lot of money and no common sense, I would love to see a video of somebody jumping one without a cage on the top.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, when that thing hits the ground.
Oh, suddenly you need the jaws of life. I don't think it would be good.
I just want to see the video. I don't want anybody to die, but maybe a remote control one. It would be funny looking.
Yeah, it sure would.
So there's your pro tip of the day. Don't straighten your cage. And again, the factory cage is a one-time use cage. It is designed to protect you and be replaced after the accident.
Yep.
And in racing, you're going to take enough hits that a full race cage will be able to shrug off, but a stock cage, it's going to affect the structural integrity. You're going to put a bend in it. You're going to put a kink in it. And from that point on, it's no longer useful as a safety device.
No. If you guys look back, like Mike Plank, when he rolled at Crazy Man's Hideout, and who else? With Jeremiah Braun. They both rolled there.
Top to bottom.
But they both had cages on their machines. Now, Mike Plank blew a tire. and I think he damaged something else. But he didn't have to do anything to that cage. It was completely structurally sound still. And same with Jeremiah's. He had an aftermarket cage on his, and push it back over, and as long as all the suspension's good and you didn't knock a corner off, go on.
Exactly.
Now, neither of them finished the race like that. I think they both had some minor problems. But, I mean, as far as the overall machine, it was fine.
And they both got out and walked away, and that's the most important part.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We got on cages. Oh, yeah, because we were talking
about people that
buggy prep.
Yeah, things people have done. I don't think Spangler's done a whole lot to his, Kevin Spangler. I think he's kind of staying with his keep it as close to stock as he can mentality.
Which has worked out for him so far in a reliability standpoint.
Yeah, he's not putting down the big power, but he's not breaking parts either like a lot of other people. And
again, this isn't meant as a slight against him, but he realizes he's not the fastest guy on the track.
Mm-hmm.
He's not eking every little ounce of performance out of that Razor. So he just wants it to stay together. And for his driving style, is not a bad plan.
Right. And he does have aftermarket control arms and radius rods and a cage and all that. But I mean,
where do you get those from?
Spang's Fab, likely. But I'm saying stock as in he's not running high performance clutching. He's not running a big tune. He's not doing anything crazy.
Stock clutches, stock horsepower, stock ECU tuning, all that.
Yeah. Let's see. Jason Dehart, he tore his down just to fix some abuse. I think.
Now that's a 2-year-old machine.
Yeah,
that's had 2 full seasons
on it, and he hasn't really done anything to it.
No.
So it was due for some maintenance. We'll say hefty maintenance.
But he ran Heartland Challenge last year, finished the race. I mean, 4 hours. So it's been a good machine for him, but it takes its toll.
You run 2 seasons on any car. I don't care what it is. It's going to need some work.
For sure.
Let's see. I think Ryan Kunkel did some work to his. He had a few things. I don't know if he's back together. I don't know about Willie. I haven't heard anything of what he has or hasn't done. Most racers kind of upgrade throughout the winter. That's what they do.
And really, you're not a top-tier racer unless you're putting the last bolt in like the night before the race starts.
As they're calling all racers from your line to the front.
Maybe I should put that battery strap in I've been putting off.
Nah. That's happened to people.
Yes, it has.
So,
talked to Ryan Hart. He is going to run that Maverick again this year.
Is he?
Yep. Yeah, he said he's going to stay in the heavies and just get some more seat time in. He goes, I think he basically talking to him last night, he said, I think what really hurt me was lack of seat time.
I agree.
He said, so I don't really want to go out, grab a different buggy and just, okay, I'll try my luck in this next one. He said, I like it. He said, it holds together so much better than the Arctic Cat. He didn't have a double X.
No.
He had the older version that, I mean, they're okay for trail riding and for some light sport use, but the front end is really too fragile for racing.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you could probably redesign
You can build them. I mean, you can build them up, but it wasn't, and it just...
And there's better machines to build. It's like if you're going to put all that time and effort in, you probably shouldn't get the older Arctic Cat. You probably should just buy something else and build that instead.
Right.
So he moved over to the Maverick, and I think it's a smart decision on this point. He's just going to get more seat time in.
Yep. He needs to get... And it's nothing against him. He just needs to get some seat time off the track before he gets to the track. And I understand we're all busy and just sometimes don't have time.
And he's got his kids racing, so he's keeping quads running. His son Jace took first overall in Pee Wee.
Yeah.
And as in the 50cc seniors there, it's a 50cc machine.
Yeah.
So if you've ever had the pleasure of trying to keep one of those running for a full season, it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just so finicky, and one little thing goes wrong and they run like crap. And I mean, he had one little problem with it one race where the thing's supposed to rev to 14 grand and it was only hitting like 11 or 12. And so Jace was back in the pack because he just didn't have the top end. And it was one simple little tiny thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he's busy dude.
Yeah. But I mean, that's with any of us. You know, if you don't have any seat time in your machine, you have no confidence in how it handles.
Yeah.
It's just,
you got to know it. You've got to get past the, overthinking corners and where you can fit. You just have to know because you've done it enough times.
Yep.
Because you really don't have enough time in a race. You can analyze and do some strategy, but you don't have time to think about every little thing.
No.
Can I make this corner? What speed can I take this corner at? Can I wedge through those trees? There's a certain point where you just have to have enough reps in. You know, I can hit this corner at this speed just by the feel of the machine and know where you're at.
And know how it's going to come out of it, not going to be two-wheeled through or whatever. I mean, some things will always surprise you, but you better have a good idea before you go in.
And again, having those reps when you hit those surprises, you know better how to counter them. So it's just time in, and I think that's a great decision for him, and I think he's going to have a pretty good year this year.
Yep. It'll be exciting to see because the machine's a good race-built machine.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He had 0 seat time in it, and he picked it up, halfway through the year.
Yeah, mid-season.
So, he had 0 time to do anything with it, basically. Yeah. I think that covers most of the racers. I probably missed some. Cody Willenborg's talking about getting a new machine. He hasn't picked one up that I know of yet, and it's going to be tight to build a race machine.
He's not going to race one of those 4-seater, 85-inch wide machines he's building?
No, those are not his. Those are our customers.
I'd still like to see someone race one right up until they had to go in the woods.
Yeah, first turn in, I'll just park it here. That thing's a monster.
Plus, the first hill you hit, you'd axles, kiss them goodbye with those tires on there.
Those tires were heavy.
These machines are not designed for anything other than really kind of looks. I mean, you could do some soft off-roading with them, but they're running on 35 by 12.5 general grabbers. And for any of you who have put a tire like that on your pickup truck, you know just how heavy they are.
They are very heavy. And it was very wide, and those little axles stand 0 chance.
Poor little axles.
They'll make it because the guy's not a heavy off-roader. All he is he's going to use it to tour around property and use it for transportation.
Yeah, basically get people down to his boathouse so they can go boating and drive around the property, and that's all they're going to be for. They're going to be buses.
Whatever. I mean, it's what the guy wants to use them for, so it doesn't matter. It's his money.
They're cool looking.
His machine. It is. So...
so stuff and things people are prepping. And
I did want to say the Midwest Side-by-Side Banquet. I know this will be kind of short notice for everybody by the time this comes out, but it is open to everyone. It is not only for racers of the series or only for whatever. I mean, there's no qualification to it. They want everybody to come out and hang out.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you did race, obviously we really want you there. But if you just want to come and hang out, are there tickets for it? Are they $15 a piece or something?
I think they're 12. I think you get them at the door, but they'd like to know how many are coming, so they,
so give them a head count.
Food appropriate. You can find their Facebook page, just Midwest Side by Side. I think it's Midwest Side by Side Racing or something like that. Their series. I don't know. I'm bad at this.
If you type in Midwest space SXS, you'll find it.
Yeah. But you'll see there's a thread going on there of, people saying I'm coming, how many are coming with them, and so on and so forth. Drop them a message on there if you guys are even in the near area, and come hang out with a bunch of side-by-side racers and riders, and, hopefully there's a bunch of us.
$12, you get to hang out for the evening, bring your wife, tell her it's a date night for $12.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's a plus or a minus, but we'll be there.
Yes.
Take it how you want.
That's all we'll say. Speaking of invites, I know we touched on the Harrison Power Sports ride. Is there any...
There is no date yet.
No date yet?
I'm going to send them a message.
When was it last year? Was it mid-March?
It was...
I know it was cold and snowy up there, but that's middle Michigan. That could have been June.
It was either the last weekend in March or the first weekend in April. I'm trying to remember which one it was.
Yeah, it was right in that vicinity.
Because I have pictures that have a date on them, but they weren't from me. They were saved from someone else, and they were like that first week in April. So it fell right in there somewhere.
Yeah. So it's going to be in the mix of race season. AXCC is the weekend of the 23rd and 24th. So if it ended up being the weekend after, you'd be fine. I mean, there's another race going on that weekend. It's probably IXCR or one of the other ones, but you'll miss the big one.
Yeah, but
so hopefully it lines up for everybody. And I know a lot of you guys out there listening aren't actually racing, so you don't care anyways. But the ride is a blast. It really is fun. And It's pretty safe to say that Michigan, there's really no off-road trail system in the U.S. like Michigan has. In terms of just scope and total miles, and I mean, there's just nothing really like it.
I would say the closest comparison is West Virginia. Now, the trails are completely different because obviously West Virginia is up in the mountains, and there's a lot of that there in the trails. But Michigan, I'm not saying it's flat, but it's flatter. There's no giant cliffs to fall off.
True, yeah.
And you can run a little higher speed, and you know, the worst thing you're going to do is hook a tree if you're running that fast. But the trails are plenty wide. I mean, in most spots, you want to slow down for it, but two side-by-sides can pass each other going in opposite directions with no real fanfare. And
all the guys up there really seem to have hand signals down and stuff, which is nice.
Yeah.
I like that about riding in Michigan. So if you got a column, you're coming up against a column of UTVs coming the other way, and there's 4 in that column. The first guy's flashing you 3 fingers. The second guy is giving you 2. The third guy's giving you 1, and the last guy's giving you a closed fist. And then you know that's the end of their column.
Yeah. Which one finger is he holding up?
It depends on if he likes you or not.
Okay, just asking.
Depends on if you're driving a Razor.
So, no, that was a real good time last year. We did a video on it. It's on YouTube. Go check it out. Yeah, I would definitely like to make it.
That was the one where he broke the double X.
Oh, yes. I watched that, I don't know, a week or 2 ago. Just, it's like, yeah, let's see how that was.
No, I remember we broke stuff.
I broke things. Not my Razor. Didn't break that.
No, that was the first time. Dude, you were what, 5 hours in?
I don't even know if I had that. I think I had an hour on it. And like 5 miles or something.
I think you were a little further in than that. You were kind of hoping that you'd have time to get through the 20-hour break-in. You got like 5 hours, I think.
I was not close.
Not anywhere close.
I think, was it the weekend before, 2 weekends before we went and picked it up in Tennessee? I think that's what we did.
Yeah.
2 weekends before.
And then the weather
we got a bunch of rain, and I just couldn't.
The weather turned crappy, and everything was a foot of mud here, and there's just no way.
Oh, how far the little Razor has come.
Yeah, we've got some video we're going to be throwing out about that, some things we've done recently.
More stuff on it.
You had your snow video from yesterday, so the eagle-eyed viewers who watch the snow video will probably figure out some of what's happened.
Yeah, you'll catch what's there.
Catch little glimpses.
And then we have more parts sitting, just waiting to go on. It's just literally a matter of time of getting time for both of us to be there in our schedules and shoot video while doing it.
And if Mother Nature would cooperate, would be helpful.
Yeah, because it's cold, and anyway.
We had about 7 inches of snow here last night over in Illinois, closer to where Steve was. I know he got 10. I don't know if they got any more beyond that.
I think they're up near a foot. I think I saw a measurement picture that he had it was a foot. So,
and there's possibly more coming. Is that what I heard?
Yes, this weekend they're talking about the same amount.
No, I'm done. I'm out. No,
whatever. You came from up north. This was normal.
I know, but up there I had equipment to deal with it. Which I was like, I'm going down south. I don't need that stuff anymore.
You brought it. I'm blaming you.
And B, up there, the plow drivers are actually accustomed to plowing roads and salting them and know how to clear roads. Down here, they're
horrible.
It's an art that seems to have escaped the average driver. They're like, there's a foot of snow. Let's put sand on top of it.
The plow drivers around here are truly idiots. Instead of putting the blade down and throwing the 6 inches of snow off, now let's just put sand on top. It's fine. It doesn't work that way.
It's back to seat time. It's like they say the Israeli fighter pilots are the best in the world because they have thousands of hours compared to most pilots, hundreds.
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing with the plow drivers up north. Those guys have thousands of hours pushing snow because it's just a way of life.
Yeah.
And down here, I
find
like
6 months.
And then down here, I find out like nobody knows how to plow. The roads are an absolute mess, and nobody down here knows how to drive.
Oh, no, they don't. So I was heading
special.
over here to do the recording, and I was trapped behind a van. Now, at this point, we got snow last night and yesterday, but at this point, the roads are clear. Yeah, they're just wet.
They finally plowed them. They got some salt down, and they're just wet.
I was stuck behind a van going 30 miles an hour.
Did you push him?
I went around him.
Should have done a pit maneuver and put him in the ditch.
Some old guy smoking a cigarette, more concerned about talking to his passenger than actually driving.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
We'll get into, we might have a stupid stuff with Doug that's related to that.
We're doing that. It's stupid stuff with Doug Day.
You're rubbing off on me.
Yes, I are.
So, I notice on the list here you've got the Textron Double X Limited.
Yes, I think they just call it the LTD, not like the old Ford.
Like the old Ford wagon with the wood-paneled sides?
No.
Sweet. Does it have hideaway headlights?
No, it's different than that.
Does it have a rear seat that faces backwards?
No, I miss those. That's how you can guarantee you'll get car sick no matter where you go.
Oh, yeah. I think they stopped doing it because of the whole child ejection system if you got hit. Whee!
Well, I guess they stopped doing it because they found that the old cars, now the new ones I'm sure are 100 times better, but you know how horrible the emissions were on the old cars?
Were they gassing the kids?
Yes, kids were passing out and stuff.
Well, to be fair, the old exhaust systems, remember you used to hear loud cars all the time?
Yeah.
Because your exhaust system back in the 70s and 80s would last you
5 years tops.
Yeah, usually more like 2 if you were up north because the salt would just destroy them. And now it's a lifetime part. It's very rare if you have a car with a factory stainless exhaust that you'll ever have to replace it before you get rid of it.
You get to 15, 20 years, you might have some that are going bad. But normally you can just replace a part of it and it's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, back then I can see the tailpipe's got a crack towards the back and you get that vacuum. Imagine cracking the window and you got that little vacuum and it's sucking the fumes back in.
Yeah.
Why are the kids so quiet?
Oh, they're sleeping.
Oh, look at that. Little faces are turned bright red.
How did we get on this?
Because the Ford Textron LTD.
We went down a rabbit trail there, folks.
It was a good one. It was worthwhile.
Yeah. So the Textron Double X Limited, as I'll call it, not the LTD, but
I'm always calling it the LTD, and I want wood grain stickers now. Okay.
Anyway,
comes with.
I actually like how they've accessorized this one because, okay, most limited or special edition UTVs that are out there, what do they come with?
A sticker that says they're special edition.
Yes, some of them. Okay, we'll take like the Wolverine. It has different graphics.
It's got different graphics. Yeah, maybe you get different shocks. Sometimes you get a roof, sometimes not. Maybe a windshield.
Well, the Wolverine doesn't come with the windshield, but it's got like bead locks or different wheels in some way.
Yeah.
99% of the time, it is all cosmetic.
Yes.
Though, in what you actually get.
Yeah, you don't really get a lot that's
you might
really
like you
all
said, you
that special.
might get different shocks, but not very many are doing that.
No.
It's a pretty limited thing that if they're doing that. This one actually comes with usable features. It comes with a roof, and I got it on there. You have to tell me if I'm right and if I get all of them.
This is your trivia.
It's my trivia. Okay, it comes with a roof, a windshield. Mm-hmm. It comes with... It's the same wheels, I'm pretty sure. I know it comes with a stereo, which I was really impressed. Not that it's the greatest stereo in the world. I don't know of any others. The Highlifter Razor might have a stereo option. I can't remember if it's...
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Or if it's just a Polaris accessory. But and it's a Bluetooth stereo. I mean, not that Bluetooth is amazing, or super rare. But it's nice that they have it.
Oh, yeah, sure.
What else did it have? Was it a winch?
No.
No winch?
It's in the vicinity of the winch.
Bumpers. It's got bumper.
Comes with bumpers.
Yeah. Is that all of it?
That's all of it.
That's what I thought. Okay.
But still, bumpers, roof, and windshield, those are 2 or 3 items there.
Counting's hard.
Counting is hard. But those are items that people almost buy right out of the gate after they get one, especially the roof and the windshield. Yeah. Bumpers maybe a little bit later on. But
right.
Roof and windshield are usually like 2 accessories that people get right out of the gate.
If you're going to have a windshield, and some people don't like riding with windshields, I am not a huge windshield fan.
Your buggy has a full windshield.
I know, but it's winter. I'm a windshield fan in the winter.
I was going to say, we quite literally just put one on.
I'm not a windshield fan in the summers.
Okay.
I just don't like them. I'd rather have the wind on me.
What do you think about those mesh ones? You've seen those? They're like a fine metal mesh, and supposing we get mud on it, you can just flick it like that, and the mud will fly off.
I have seen them in person. I have sat behind one. I have never driven it. I've seen the guy who had it. I've seen him with mud on it, and he just flicked it, and he showed me, and the mud just flies off. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that they advertise works really well. I think the only thing it wouldn't stop is like fine tire spray or maybe rain coming through.
Yeah, but if you like to ride without one anyways, then you're not worried about that.
Right. I agree.
It keeps rocks and larger bits and mud from coming at you.
I agree.
Would that be something you'd be interested in?
I would be really interested to try one, and then maybe I'll try and find one and pick one up for this summer and run it on the Razor.
We'll do a review for you.
Yeah.
Or if there's some generous company out there that would like to.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the company who makes it, but if anybody knows, let us know. If you have a connection with them, set the two of us up and maybe we can make something work. I don't know.
We will give you an honest, unbiased, and unprofessional review.
Yes, on all of that. But no, back to the XX. Yeah, the windshield is definitely, if you're a windshield person, that's something you're going to get right away. The roof, I'm a big fan of having a roof.
You got to have a roof.
All the time.
I'm sorry, you just do.
I don't care if it's a custom cage or anything else. I want a roof. The bumpers, that's like you said, that's something a lot of people can or do wait on, but it's nice. And the stereo, that's, man, like you said, right there, that's easily a year's worth of accessories for what someone would buy. That's what someone would buy within a year is about.
Well, your average UTV sound system is going to run you $600.
Mm-hmm.
Roof is going to be
$300, about $300.
Probably $300 for the roof. Windshield about the same, depending on what you get.
Yeah, the little like quarter ones, like I have for my Polaris, those are $200 or $250, and if you get a full windshield, they're up closer to $350 to $400.
Yeah,
I mean, kind of depends on what features you get with it.
And then bumpers can vary drastically depending on what you want.
Very typically, they start at $250 to $275, and they go up to $350 to $400, and that's a piece. So
some quick math there says that that's probably $1,600 worth of
$1,600 to $2,000 worth of stuff, I would say, if I was guessing.
What's it do to the price tag? Do you remember that?
It does not. I don't remember the exact number. It's been a couple weeks actually since I put that on our list, but I'm wanting to say it didn't bump it by near that. I was wanting to say $1,000 or a little less.
So it's definitely worth it,
in my opinion. If you know you're gonna buy that stuff, it's the best bang for your buck. Assuming you like all the design of the bumpers and everything else. I mean, some people just don't like the design of certain bumpers. But I was happy to see. I think the radio was the biggest thing I was happy to see that they came out with. I don't even use a radio in mine, like really ever.
No.
But so many people do. It's good that they actually put it in it because it's something a lot of people are going to buy. So, yeah, just thought it was neat.
If I ever buy a XX, I'm getting the limited edition, and I am going to get wood grain.
Panel.
Yes, I'm going to get the wood grain stickers, and I'm going to get the
pea
old.
Green. You gotta like get a pea green wrap.
Yes.
So it looks like the family truckster.
And then get the old LTD emblems. Go to a junkyard and scavenge a couple and stick them on there. I would totally do that.
Take their bumpers off and get some like Ford LTD chrome bumpers and cut them. Cut them narrow and.
But have them where they go out past the front tires and then wrap a little
around
bit.
the front tires. Yes.
That way when they hit a tree, they can gouge in and completely shred them.
They used to do that on those old cars. Tag a tree or something, and normally what you could have drove away from, now it's push the bumper into the tire.
There goes our Textron sponsorship.
I'm not saying Textron's doing that.
I know. There's still no way they're liking what we're thinking.
Yeah. Maybe that just helped us with the Polaris one, though.
Yay! We haven't made Polaris jokes in weeks now.
We're trying.
We're trying to behave. It's really hard for us.
Yeah. Anyway. So
you want to talk helmets, I know, because it's been a real hot topic in our racer chat, and
it's been a hot topic for me.
There's a million options out there, and there's a lot of things to consider that a lot of people may not think of.
Helmets are like race seats, race suits, gloves, shoes.
It depends on your riding style. It depends on where you sit in the seat, whether you sit upright and tall or whether you slouch down some.
Your head shape, how it fits you. Do you have an air pumper system? Are you wanting to put an air pumper system in?
Yeah.
There are so many
Are you riding in dusty environments or cold environments? Because even the location of the air inlet for the pumper system can affect whether you're pulling in a bunch of dust or not, or there's so many considerations. If you ride a bunch of different stuff, you almost have different helmets.
You almost do. Yeah.
I mean, you can make one work for everything, but it may not be ideal.
Yeah.
The helmet that you like for cold weather riding is probably not the one you want out in the desert.
No, not really. There's going to be vast differences anyway in the
So I know for you, you like your Bell helmet you have now.
I have so right now in this past year, actually the last 2 years, I have ran this. I don't even remember the make and model or the model of it. It's a Bell, so I know the make. But I like how it fits me. I like the weight. It's been a good helmet for me. I really like that one. So I've been looking at upgrading to a pumper helmet. For those not real familiar with the stuff we're talking about, a pumper helmet works on forced air tube that goes into it somewhere, either on the side or the top, and it pushes air into your helmet all the time. One, to help cool you. Two, also it keeps all the dust out, so dust isn't rolling into your helmet. These are full-faced helmets. All the pumper helmets are. Bell does make, I'll preface by, Bell does make other ones, but I'm not spending $800 on a new helmet.
Come on.
Well,
it's your head.
If some nice fan wants to donate a bunch of money, fine. My head has survived many accidents, and it has proven that it doesn't need an expensive helmet to do so.
Fair enough.
With minor drain damage.
No one noticed.
Yeah. So anyway, the more budget-friendly Bell, it's a qualifier is what the model of it is. It has forced air. I like that, but it's right up on top.
And you might almost be able to get away with that because you tend to slouch down when you sit. You have a shorter torso.
Yeah.
Like, you might be able to get away with it, but if you jump in a buggy with a low cage, you'd probably be in trouble.
Right.
I could never use one.
No, you have a taller torso and you sit up.
I sit like bolt upright in the seat. So I'd snap that thing off half a lap in.
So that one kind of throws it out. There's one, I want to say it's Klim. K-L-I-M, I think is how you, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it or not, but they make one. It is a top air also, I believe. Mm-hmm. And these are still, I mean, they're not cheap helmets. They're still $300 plus.
The Klim one's on top, but it's further back, isn't it? Like, it doesn't extend beyond the crown of the helmet?
Yes, basically. So Race Quip also makes one, and it's about the same. It's no higher than the crown. My problem is, I like the idea of the top air because with air coming in the top, it's going to curtain down and cool my whole head like that.
Sure.
I love the thought of that. My only other thought is with the race seats and everything that, like I said, I'm running with Steve this year for all the AXCC races at least. With high back seats, and any race seat's going to be high back, that hose is going to be coming directly off the back of my helmet. So where's it going? Directly into the seat back behind me. I just don't know how that'll work. I just question it.
You have to, if you've got a setup like that, you really have, it's an entire system, including the seat. The seat and your helmet and your Hans device and all of it have to work together perfectly.
Yeah.
And you can't really mix and match any of the parts.
So I've looked now the brand escapes me. Regardless, there's another brand that I've been toying with the idea of getting. Doug will probably pull it up because he probably has it. I've been chatting with him about it. But it's a side air. It comes in basically at the jawline.
Now, with a setup like that, does it pump it like it comes in the side, but it still goes up the top and down? Or I don't know. I guess it depends on the design of the helmet.
It's hard to find any real good information. Even the manufacturers, they have the different names and all that they call them. The cool air system, the breeze system, the whatever. Okay, so it blows air in, but where does it divert it to? Does it have ducting inside the helmet that it pushes around and it comes up to the top and then pushes down? Or does it just blow in like at the jawline side and rely on the circulation inside the helmet to keep it reasonably cool? I don't know. So that's the one I'm kind of leaning towards that.
Pyrotect.
Yes, Pyrotect.
The Pro Sport Side Air Helmet.
Yes.
In flat black.
There are others that's north of 300.
I like the way they list this. Okay, because it's from Rugged.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, how is this for NASCAR, police, and more? Then I realized they were talking about the radio, not the helmet. I'm like, I've never seen police cruising around with crash helmets on.
With forced air.
With forced air. And if they are, that means they're really serious about running you off the road. Like, they've stepped their game up.
Yeah. I'm willing to crash to get you off there.
Be like the cops from Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Oh, look, you stole a soup can. Time to die.
Yeah. So my big quandary, I guess, is I'm pretty sure I want to go with the side air. I almost think I need to, just to keep everything as universal as possible.
Well, and yeah, because you will be riding primarily with Steve, but that's not necessarily the only buggy you're going to be in.
Correct. I am nearly positive I'll be in several others. The others may not have a forced air system like the actual pump, motor and pump. So, that's fine, but it's just a real money investment to get into this.
Because it's not just the helmet. You dump $200-300 in the helmet, and then hose for the pumper, and then the pumper itself, and then possibly a controller if you want to be able to adjust
have a variable speed.
So it's not just dump. If it's cold outside, you may not want that thing at full bore.
No, you just want a little air moving to keep. Because what else it does is, aside from keeping dirt out and keeping you cool, is it also keeps your visor from fogging.
Yep.
So while we're on the topic of the visor, there's the other thing. How do you see? Because it's a visor, and I mean, let's be honest. I'm not a big fan of tear-offs. I like roll-offs better. There isn't a great system.
No, because it's curved on multiple planes. It's not just, goggles that are just curved on one plane.
Right. There are a couple systems as far as roll-off systems that will work. Red Raven makes one, and Mud Muncher makes another. Mud Muncher is $500 just for the roll-off system.
Yeah.
And the roll-offs are quite expensive from what I'm told.
I think you just get yourself a little tiny squeegee.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
The Red Ravens are nice. They're not as expensive, but you're still looking at... I don't know if they make a system that goes on those helmets. I know they make goggles, but their goggles are still expensive. Their goggles are $250, $300. I mean, none of it's cheap. So all in this, if you really just started ordering stuff, you would have $1,500 if you went with the Mud Muncher setup plus a helmet plus a pumper.
Or do you just buy a new visor for the Bell you have since you like it?
It doesn't have a visor. It's an open.
No, I'm not talking the flip down. I'm talking the top visor.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That you lost.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, do you just do that and, you've got the Scott goggles and just say, forget it all? I mean, I understand the attraction of the pumper helmet, but this sounds like it's getting really complicated.
Yes. It could get very complicated.
I think if you were actively driving and running in multiple seasons, you could start to see the benefit. As a co-driver for different people where the setup doesn't necessarily translate from buggy to buggy as well, it could be a deep, expensive rabbit hole, I guess is what I'm thinking.
I completely agree. I'm just saying it's what I want.
But we are giving you some things to think about if you're looking at helmet setups, and there's a lot of different options and things to consider, like with most UTV gear.
Yeah. I would still like to have a pumper setup.
He's going to do it. There's no talking you out of this.
I might.
I know this. No, you're right. This makes no sense. Next day, look what I bought. I know how this works. I played this game before.
It's a fun game, though.
Well, believe it or not,
are we there?
We're basically there, yeah.
Holy cow, we talk a lot.
If we promise to go quick on the trivia, we could get to our tip of the week.
I
won't sidetrack us. How about that?
Okay.
I'll just do answers and I won't tell stories.
Call from my brother. whatever.
So you want to talk about jumping UTVs. So we'll do something useful. Tip of the week, jumping UTVs. And then when we do trivia, I won't go all sidetracky. How about that?
Okay.
I can't promise that. It might be a long show.
Okay.
But anyways, jumping a UTV.
Jumping a UTV. There's been several people that I've seen posts, and I think people see videos of someone jumping a UTV and just think, like, oh, you find a steeper incline than what you're driving on, and you hit it at a speed, and you gracefully soar through the air like a majestic eagle and land nicely, and that's that.
Until you try it the first time and you end up end over end balling up your factory cage.
Yeah, there are multiple things to take into mind when looking at a jump, or to even jump. Is your suspension going to hold up to it? Not all of them that is yes. Right now, even on my Razor, we've talked about before, I run very soft settings.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to go and I know I'm going to jump a lot, I really get out and I turn up the compression quite a bit. I think I'm sitting, wanting to say there's 16 settings on my shocks total, and I'm sitting in about the middle right now, maybe a couple clicks below the middle. I would go up to nearly all the way.
Yeah.
I want nearly full compression. Does it ride as good across the ground? Nope, not at all. But it's going to take that big heavy hit.
Yeah,
when
exactly.
You land.
And if you're thinking about doing a jump in a Razor 570 that has 6 inches of suspension travel, you might want to think again. Anyways, you can do it. Just
they normally don't have enough power to really get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, I mean,
you can do it. I'm just saying normally.
Yeah, that's true.
So one of the other things to think about is the jump itself, and more particularly the face of the jump. You always, and I'll say always, want the face of the jump to be at least twice as long as a machine. So a typical Razor is about 10 feet in the wheelbase. You want at least a 20-foot face on the jump. That sounds like way more than you need. 20 feet, it will still buck the back end a little, but you'll get away with it. And you can't hit it. It can't be a 60-mile-an-hour jump with a 20-foot face. It won't work.
Right.
So there's calculations to take into, thought there. Let's say you're hitting a 60-mile-an-hour jump. You probably want closer to a 50-foot face on the jump.
And the reason you need the longer face is you need to give the suspension time to settle from the transition to flat to angled. You've got to give the suspension some time to settle before you complete the jump. So, and if you're going fast, 20 feet ain't enough time for that to happen.
No, it's not. A 20-foot face jump, if you have that, is about a 15-mile-an-hour jump, roughly. 10 to 15. That's about all you want to hit it at. Can you hit it at 25? Yep, you're going to nose over real hard.
Yeah.
Now let's take just a second to talk about why do UTVs nose over. Number one, they're just nose heavy. The engine sits in front of the rear axle. The people sit in front of that. Normally you have bumpers, winches, and other accessories, radios, and all that sit in front of that.
People think that they're rear heavy because the engine is behind them, and that's just not the case.
Not true. So then on top of that, your suspension settings matter for jumping, for the landing, and for the takeoff. But what causes it to buck is if your front tires leave the ground before the rear tires have started to unload. And what happens is there's nothing for the rear tires to push on as it's unloading, because it'll push off of the front tires too. There's nothing for it to push, and it pushes up off the ground for the rear, and it rotates like that.
Yep.
And that's why you nose in. If you've ever nosed a jump in, it is not fun.
No.
It can hurt.
The videos are fantastic to watch, but you don't want to be the one making the video.
No. There are so many things to go through that it's impossible to do it all, especially in a talking format, without showing some things.
We should make a jump video.
We could. I don't have a real good long high-speed jump. I've wanted to build one at my house. We could build a really long high-speed jump. I've wanted to build one.
See, now we have an excuse.
So I'll go over a few things, and we'll just call this jump etiquette, even though it's not really etiquette, but it's, the steps you need to go through if you're wanting to jump your machine. This suspension, we've already kind of talked about. You have to kind of know if yours will handle it, if it'll stay together. Hit the jump slower than you think you ever would first.
Yes.
You may not get off the ground very much, but you'll get an idea of how it flies. So let's say some of the faster jumps out there that we were hitting in the Badlands video, we were flying 100 feet in the air. It didn't look like it because none of the terrain really was right to get a lot of space between the ground and us. But by the time we left the ground to the time we landed, we were 115 feet is what we were flying.
Yeah.
That's not a short distance, and we were traveling at 65 to 70 miles an hour, depending on which one we're hitting. So start off by hitting, we'll say, a 60 mile an hour jump. Start off hitting it at 30. Your suspension should extend most of the way. Tires might not even leave the ground all the way at that point. So you hit it at 30, then you hit it at 40. Okay, maybe I come off the ground for 10 feet. At 50, you'll come off, well, that's not right math. But 30, your tires will come off the ground a little bit. 40, you'll come off the ground for 20 feet. 50, you'll come off the ground for, 50 feet or so, because you're kind of still going up the hill and you're going to touch down on top of the hill. Now, the problem when you do this is going to be a little rougher because you're not landing on the downhill side.
Right.
You're landing on top of the hill. Suspension is going to compress, unload as you're going down the hill, and you're going to get kind of a two-bouncer out of it. It's what it's going to feel like. Once you get to that right speed, assuming your machine has the power to get you to that right speed, that's when you go up, you take off, your suspension fully droops just as you're leaving or cresting the top of the hill, and then you kind of go over the hill and you're landing on the downhill side of it as your suspension. So you're falling into the downhill part, and it makes for a softer landing.
Yes.
Now, there's all kinds of things. I am not telling you guys this is exactly all the things you need to do to jump, but everyone has to start somewhere.
And it's not just getting in and jumping.
Right.
I mean, there's some things you need to be aware of, and the ones that you see on YouTube that are well executed, it's not by accident.
No, it's because people have done it many times before, and they practice and they hit a few slow and a little faster and a little faster to see if that jump, if it'll hold up. Now, we need to wrap this up. But last thing, the jumps go away. People don't think about that when they're hitting jumps. But what happens is, as you're accelerating up the hill, you're spinning tire and stuff like that. So as you're accelerating up, you're making grooves, you're making ruts, you're actually knocking the incline of the jump down.
Mm-hmm.
So that has to be factored in. If you feel the jump going away and it's doing bad things, get off of it.
Yeah.
You're better off to get off of it. So there are many other things to go on and on and on about.
Oh, yeah. How to use the throttle during a jump, and not just the geometry of the face, but also specifically of the lip at the top. And you could go on for ages.
There is control that can be had in the air with the throttle and the brakes of stopping the wheels spinning or spinning them faster and what it does to the rotation of the machine. And there is all this stuff, but the short of it is, for most people, you're not going to be hitting these big, long jumps, sailing them. Take it slow, take it easy first, and get accustomed to how it should feel. And you'll know when it feels right, and you'll know when it feels oh so very wrong.
Yes.
But I'm going to say be prepared to crash, because even if you're sailing it right, one guy, when we were at the Badlands, he didn't roll it, but I really thought he was. He came off crooked and started to fly. He should be flying this way if you guys are watching my hand. And instead of flying this way, he started flying this way, and he came down. I think it was left rear first. And luckily, it kind of hooked and set him straight.
Wow, he got lucky.
But you can land crossways like this, and it'll start to tumble. It'll just bite and kick.
Yeah.
Because your suspension that lands first compresses and then starts to unload. There's nothing. These tires on this side are not down yet, and nothing to push against, so it kicks up.
Yeah.
And then it pivots over those tires, and that's a high-speed tumble that is multiple tumbles normally. So
fun stuff.
Sounds fun, doesn't it?
Experience is a good teacher, so make your first one a good experience.
Yeah. And if you have buddies who you ride with who have jumped, pick their brains.
For sure.
It's a good thing. So,
all right. We're going to roll through trivia. I'm going to be good.
You say that.
I'm just going to answer right or mostly wrong, probably.
Okay. You ready?
Yes.
Question number 1. What was different about Alcatraz prison before 1933?
It wasn't on an island in the middle of the San Francisco
Yes, they
Bay.
picked up everything and just moved it.
It was an insane asylum before it was a prison.
No. It was a minimum security prison where, like, they even employed the prisoners as babysitters for the guards who work there.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense.
What do you mean?
How are they How are the prisoners babysitting the guards?
The guards' kids.
Oh, you didn't say kids.
Oh.
You said they were babysitting the guards.
I meant like babysitting for the guards, not
was trying to
babysitting the guards.
I'm like, so the inmates are running the asylum? What the
Yes.
heck? Okay.
No, babysitting for the guards.
Okay, fair enough.
As in their children.
It's a whole different picture there.
Moving
Next.
on. Question number 2. What is the dominant fruit flavoring in the drink Southern Comfort?
I don't drink Southern Comfort because I have taste buds.
Gasoline. Is gasoline a fruit?
Peach?
You are correct. It is peach.
Figured Southern.
Yeah.
Doesn't it have a picture of a peach on the bottle?
I think it does. I don't know.
Vague memories. Southern Comfort and Fireball mixed together. Woo!
That's called blackout time. All right. Question number 3. In the film Home Alone 2, what city was the McAllister family planning on vacationing in?
Home Alone 2?
Yes, the second one. That's why it's got the 2.
Was it Honolulu? Was it Hawaii? It was some sort of tropical destination.
You are incorrect. It was Miami.
Miami. Okay. Well, same palm trees and crappy weather. There you go. I mean, not that Hawaii always has crappy weather, but I was thinking, I just remember it rained the whole time, like monsoon style. So.
Yeah. All right. Question number 4. Name the 2 features different on a hare than a rabbit.
Hares have shorter ears and longer back legs.
You were almost right. The hares have longer ears and longer back legs.
Ah, okay. Yeah, oh yeah, because they do. They got the
big tall ones.
Yes.
Rabbits really have kind of stubby ears.
Yeah, that's true. There you go.
All right. Question number 5. What is the name of the cat in the Disney movie Cinderella?
I know. I'll know when I hear it, but I can't think of it. Blank.
Lucifer.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't remember it being that, so I would not have gotten it. You had a dog named...
I had a dog named Lucy, and my wife called it Lucifer.
I thought it was named Angel, and she called it Lucy, short for Lucifer.
Oh, is that... Yeah,
Yeah, it was
that's
Angel.
that dog.
She didn't like the dog, so she called it Lucy.
Yeah.
Short for Lucifer.
Lucifer. Yeah. All right. Question number 6. What is the slowest moving living land mammal? So...
That person you were following here.
Yes. It's going to be close between those two, but...
The slowest moving land mammal? I'm assuming it's a sloth.
What variety of sloth?
The slow sloth of South America.
The slow sloth. I don't think that's what that is.
Okay. I'm not up on my sloth genealogy or genomic naming or whatever. I don't know. Whatever you call that.
It is the 3-toed sloth.
Binomial nomenclature.
I'll give you a quarter of an internet, half an internet point anyway.
The 3-toed sloth.
3-toed sloth.
Is there a 2-toed? It's faster?
I don't think so. But there are other slothses.
Fair enough. Okay.
Is that how you... Anyway.
Slothses. Yes, that is the plural.
Sloth-eye? Slithe?
Sloths.
Slothses? I don't know.
Moving on.
Slothses? I don't know. Anyway.
Next question.
Number 7. Which band recorded and released the song Cotton Eye Joe? Now that's playing in your head, isn't it?
Thanks for that, by the way. I've never known who did that.
Really?
No,
It came out back when we were in high school.
I remember that. I just don't know who did it.
The Rednecks. Rednex is how you spell it.
Of course, that's who did it.
The Rednecks.
I mean, no offense to anybody from the Southern Mud Riders, because I love you guys dearly, and you know this. I'm really surprised I didn't hear that while I was down there.
I kind of am too. I didn't know you didn't.
Nope. Lots of hiccup, but
yeah,
I don't even know what that qualifies as.
I don't either. Yeah. All right. Question number 8. So the band The Gorillaz, you know them?
Yeah.
Okay. Each of the Gorillaz' first 2 albums had a song named in honor of what actor?
I don't know.
Really? I figured you'd know this one.
No, because there's like 2 songs of them that I actively like. I've never owned an album.
Oh, okay.
So, Eddie Murphy.
Clint Eastwood.
No, okay.
I think one was called Dirty Harry, and what was the other one called that was... I'd have to look it up. I'm just doing that from memory, but I think one was Dirty Harry, and I don't know what the other one was.
Do you feel lucky?
No. Okay. Question number 9. What is the thin layer of foam on top of an espresso called?
It's not foam?
No, it's not called the foamy bits.
Oh, darn. Espresso, so it's going to have some sort of foreign name.
Some sort of fancy name.
El Foamy.
El Foamy. That sounds like a horrible mascot for some generic coffee brand. This is El Foamy, and he wears a little sombrero
with foam coming out the top of it.
No, it's called the Crema. C-R-E-M-A.
Oh, okay. I've heard that
Crema,
term. I didn't.
Crema.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
I don't drink that fancy coffee.
What do you drink?
Whatever's available. I'm not a connoisseur, people. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Folgers, whatever. I don't care.
Okay. Question number 10.
Does it have caffeine? That's really my only qualifier.
That's what you're going for. Okay. Question number 10. What is xenophobia?
Fear of foreigners.
I'll give you that one. Fear of strangers or foreigners. Yes. So.
No one's stranger than a foreigner.
Yeah. Or the band. There's a band Foreigner.
I'm afraid of Foreigner. I got a couple other songs in my playlist, but honestly, I skip them as often as not. It's like it should be in classic rock, but I'm just not that into them.
They're okay. There's a couple things. Well, we've gotten off topic.
We have, and I've got stupid stuff with Doug, so we'll roll through that real quick. So, coming back from the MWXC banquet last night, the weather is crappy, and they plowed the roads during the day.
Crappy by snow.
Yes. Crappy by snow, because that was when we were in the midst of the storm that gave us the 7 inches.
Snowpocalypse.
Yes, Snowpocalypse 2019. So they had plowed during the day, so they took all the heavy stuff off, and the roads were kind of wet-ish, lightly slushy. So it all was kind of moving very slowly, and then the temperature dropped again.
And then it stopped moving.
And then it snowed on top of it. So now there's a nice layer of ice underneath the snow. I'm driving home. It's about 10 o'clock at night, and the car is squirrely. Like, I'm going 30 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour around curves, then accelerating to maybe 30 or 35 on the straight. But by the time I hit 35, I'd back off because it just started wagging. Like, okay, I'm just going to go home slow. I don't care.
Right.
So this road, I'm not familiar with it. I've only driven it one other time since I've been down here, and I know there's a hill in the road. I can't remember how far down it is. And this hill, when you come at it from the top side, you can't see it until you crest it. Like, literally, it's an optical illusion for whatever reason. You cannot see this hill, especially when it's pitch black at night.
Did you jump it?
I might have been better off if I had tried. So I get to that point in the road, and all of a sudden the hill appears, and I'm only going about 25 miles an hour because it's just after a curve. And I know instantly I'm done. There is zero chance I'm stopping this car because it goes down probably about 200 feet in length, maybe 250 feet. It's not real long, but then it tees into another road, and there's a huge drop off on the other side of that road down into a farmer's field.
Yep.
And I mean, it's easily 15 feet down.
Yeah.
Yeah. No fun. Because the other road that it intersects with starts going back up and climbing, and the field doesn't climb with it. Mm-hmm. So I hit it. I immediately look off to the right. There's a tree. I look over the left, and I see a shallow ditch on the road that's alongside the one I'm riding on. So I think, you know what? I'll put the car over there, and hopefully I'll get into some deep snow and scrub off some speed.
Yep.
No, it didn't happen. I scrubbed off.
Going faster.
I probably picked up speed, if anything, because I was going downhill. Hit that ditch, maybe lost a mile an hour. Turned the car sideways.
I'm in danger.
Slid sideways across the road that it tees into, and then went down into that embankment. The car is snow plowing because it's moving sideways, which actually is better than if I was going straight. Because if I went straight, there was a bunch of scrubby trees and brush. I was going like barreling down into those. Sideways was better because I'm now pushing against the side of the tires. I have more surface area, and they're digging.
Yeah.
Well, they're digging, and I'm plowing into dirt at that point underneath the snow.
Yes.
Car finally gets enough stuff packed up that it stops it abruptly, picks up on that side. So I'm standing on two wheels, like teetering, and then it, boom, lands back on all four. So now I'm trying to figure out how to get out, and some very nice guy stopped and offered to pull me out with his truck, and I was like, there's zero chance I'm letting you put a chain on this car, because I'm down.
Yeah.
Like it's easily a 35-degree incline, and I'm down in there a ways, and there's no way he's pulling me out.
Yeah.
And there's nothing to hook to, and no. Long story short, get a wrecker out there. He puts down the claws and everything and is able to winch me out, which is what you have to do. You can't pull somebody out. You have to winch them because it's slow and it's controlled versus trying to jerk them with a chain or something. And
right.
Got the car back on the road, and I've got a bent tie rod because the alignment's not quite right. And I mean, small potato stuff, I'll be able to fix it, but dude, I was so mad. I was like, I just wanted to go home. I wasn't even driving like a maniac. It's not like I was going 60 miles an hour in the snow. I was going 25 miles an hour.
Yep.
And I just remember the feeling of seeing that hill and thinking, well, this is it.
This is where I crashed. I really thought Chad was going to do me in all of these years.
Well, and you know how it is when you have something like that happen, it happens really quick. Like if you watch it on video,
oh yeah,
like 2 seconds. You have all this time to think about, I know I'm not going to be able to stop this thing. Maybe I can go over here and do this. And then when I'm, then you're sliding and, okay, I need to correct this way. And it seems like an eternity in your head.
All of a sudden, it's like my mind is really fast.
For the few seconds that I'm trying to kill myself.
Maybe that's why it's slow all the rest of the time. It uses up all its quickness in those.
Yep, it's all gone now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to look at it today and see about ordering some parts.
Yep.
But I mean, it could have been worse. That literally was the only damage to the car.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Because I thought for sure, I'm like, man, I wiped out. Because I looked out and saw all the trees and brush. And I mean, the trees were, 1 inch, 2 inch diameter stuff.
It's enough to do some damage.
I thought for sure that side of the car was like just gone. Because the way I stopped, I thought I hit something hard and just...
One little dent.
Yep, one little tiny, it looks like a shopping cart dent.
Yep. So
maybe I know a guy that can pull that out for me.
Not all that good, but he works cheap.
Fair enough. Well, we're going to put a button on this lovely episode, number 68.
Yep. We're going to call it that.
You can find us on the web at our website, eminentperformance.com. And if you go there, you're going to find our sponsor information, of course, CW Motorsports, but also you're going to find links to Watch Communications that hosts the podcast and our website.
Yep.
I should probably put this code on there because it's still valid and I never thought to do that. But if you want 1 month of free hosting, go to watchcom.net and click on their link to buy hosting and put in the code waste of time, all lowercase, no spaces. That'll get you 1 free month of hosting with them. They've been an outstanding sponsor. Glad to have them back on board for 2019. Also got Spangs Fab, who has made you some fantastic bumpers.
Yeah, you just gave away the video.
People don't listen this far.
Okay, good enough.
It's
Y'all
not like
didn't hear that.
It's not like a big secret anyways. You got a video of your Razor with him on there racing around.
Whatever. I wasn't racing. I was spirited driving.
Spirited driving. Driving with vigor. And of course, TGM Off-Road as well. You can also find us on our Facebook page /Eminent Racing. You can find us on Instagram at Eminent Racing. You can find the video version of this show on YouTube. Just look for Eminent Performance, and you can find the audio version on YouTube. You can. There's video too.
Yep.
But on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio.
Yep. And if you guys haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead and do that so you can see when we release new stuff. And if you hit the little bell that would be down here-ish, that will notify you every time. The bell will have some little lines coming off of it when it's clicked, so you'll know. And it'll let you know when we post something new, so you can see it.
If you want to.
If you want to.
That's
do it
totally
anyway.
up to you.
It doesn't matter if you want to. Just go do it.
And no matter how bad your driving skills are in the snow, thanks for riding along with us.
Thanks, guys.
Tired of going down, tired of myself, tired of this town.
Delicious.